Evil West was released in November of 2022 and was recently added to Xbox Game Pass. I played it on the Xbox Series X, but it's also available on PC Game Pass, as well as Steam and PlayStation 5. Let's jump into the Too Long Didn't Watch, where I give you a quick overview of my thoughts and opinions of the game. Evil West has a good story and some of the best level environments I've seen in a while. Not only does it have a Western horror aesthetic, but some really great set pieces and memorable art design, especially in the later half of the game. Clearly inspired by God of War, the combat is good, and the developers give you a wide array of weapons and abilities to keep the gunplay and melee combat interesting. Unfortunately, the AA nature of Evil West does hold it back from scoring higher in this review due to its frequent jankiness, quick cuts, and transitions during cutscenes that leaves the entire game feeling rushed. Evil West has so many great things in it, but because of its problems, including a multiplayer option that I didn't have a chance to check out, but have heard that it's not working great, it makes me more excited about a high-budget sequel than replaying this one. Overall, I give Evil West a 7 out of 10.
While we're on the dynamite, Chester will be none too chatty with his guts sprayed all over a train carriage.
I know how to shape an explosion, Edgar.
It's coming. Wait for it. Now!
Harrow's not going to be happy about the bridge.
Let's start with the story. Evil West is set in the Old West of the United States of America a few decades after the Civil War. Vampires are real, and rather than the sparkling fiction vampires of Twilight or the unchanging immortals of the Anne Rice novels, vampires in this game feel more like they've been changed by a disease rather than blessed with vampirism. They are gruesome and terrifying monsters that are out to destroy humanity. To stop them, the Rentier Institute was created. You play as Jesse, a vampire hunter and son of the Institute director. Evil West puts you right into the action, with background lore provided by collectibles and a codex that expands as you play. The story takes you across a variety of different locations and maps at different times of the day. You may be fighting in a desert canyon at daytime, or an eerie swamp at night, lit by this massive moon overhead. Evil West doesn't get bogged down with the details. You're a vampire hunter and you're out to hunt vampires. They have a plan to destroy America using the blood of ancient beasts the size of titans, and you will carve and shoot your way through a horde of these vampiric freaks, affectionately titled Ticks, to stop them. The story, which runs about 10 hours, could have used a moment or two to breathe. There are some downtimes where you walk around a hub area and talk to people, but there isn't much to do there. There's also no side content, meaning this is a linear tale of vampire hunting. By moment to breathe, I mean the cutscenes in action are pretty much non-stop. No sooner are you killing a boss than the cutscene plays without even a transition, and then you're teleported to the next area. But the game has some good lore, and the monsters are very interesting. If you're lost at first, give the game some time to explain things, and make sure you keep checking the lore codex for updates and new information. The characters are pretty cut and dry, with none of them really standing out. The main character Jesse and his friend/mentor Edgar remind me of Marcus and Dom from the first Gears of War game, before they were fleshed out in the sequels. These are hardened veterans out to do a job, and they are no nonsense about it.
Yes. What's this? Catering? Why, I have
No idea what you...
That big shiny ball out there is no good for your sensitive skin.
The sun's not to know what they'll do to me.
Fun game. Let's test that theory.
No, Richard, stop! Belmontville! The gathering's in Belmontville!
Excellent choice, Chester. And since you're feeling so damn helpful, we're gonna be needing a guide. Consider it a promotion. Dipshit.
Belmontville's a long way from the manor. We're on a clock here.
We've been hunting DeBono for 3 months. What's another few hours?
Have it your way. But your father's gonna have your ass as an ashtray if we don't make that presentation.
You're retired. What's he gonna do? Fire you?
The gameplay, while pretty good, does have its fair share of jank. Evil West was so clearly inspired by God of War that it shows in how Jesse moves, fights, and opens crates. Where in God of War, it's explained that Kratos moves the way he does because he's an unstoppable juggernaut god of war. Jesse moves slowly and heavily because it's alluded to that his gauntlet weighs a lot. Jesse moves super slow, only having a few options to move quicker as they open up later with ability perks. Evil West has both melee and ranged combat, with your melee being a chain of attacks for your gauntlet with gruesome finishers. Eventually, you can gain weapons that electrocute and stun your foes, leaving you free to wail on them before finishing them off. Ranged combat gives you a revolver, a rifle, crossbow, flamethrower, dynamite, and a Gatling gun. The weapons don't have ammo, rather they work on a cooldown timer, with the exception of the revolver and the rifle, which have a combination of both. They do regain ammo over time, but they can also be reloaded in combat. Combat is engaging, gruesome, and often challenging, with a wide range of enemy types requiring careful aim, and you're going to be dodging attacks while quickly whipping out your rifle to target enemy weak spots. As an action RPG, you're going to unlock ability perks with each new level you gain, and they all have their uses in combat, like adding electricity to your attacks, increasing your dodge speed, building up your combos faster, etc. Jesse can also find money in the maps that can be spent in upgrading your weapons. Rather than increasing damage stats or reload speed, there's multiple abilities to choose from, such as making the flamethrower reach further, or returning ammo for each hit the rifle makes on an enemy weak point. It gives you a reason to explore the levels, and the difficulty means that you're going to want those upgrades in the later half of the game. Breaking up the combat are puzzle sections, and they just aren't that great. Most of them involve either burning away spiderwebs, pushing carts to reach ledges, or running really fast while you have an electrical charge in order to reboot a switch. I was never left confused as to what I was supposed to do, and they seemed more like an excuse to do something else besides fighting. But let's talk about the jank. Enemy AI will occasionally glitch out, meaning that they're going to stand there and do nothing, or start walking in a different direction. I had one enemy fly across the ceiling for no reason whatsoever and then get stuck on a roof. From a technical state, Evil West runs pretty good on quality mode, which was selected by default on my Xbox Series X. The frame rate was steady and never dipped, and the FPS didn't hinder me once while I was playing. Performance mode made everything look slightly worse without any noticeable improvements to frame rate, so I suggest playing it on quality mode. I did have the game crash, and the gameplay jankiness extends to objects in the world. Background trees and clothes on a line would freak out in the background as if they were being hit by a hurricane, before settling once again. There's also invisible walls everywhere preventing exploration. Evil West has a multiplayer option where you can invite a friend to play with you during the story. I didn't have the opportunity to test it out, but I have heard that there has been trouble connecting through the Xbox Game Pass app or finding friends on your friends list. The technical issues just speaks of a game that's trying to push beyond the limits of its development schedule and budget would allow. But let's talk about the graphics. Evil West looks great, especially with its lighting and atmosphere. The light of the massive moon overhead as it shines down on the ground at night, the reddish haze created by this evil mist surrounding a church under siege by vampiric forces, the colorful miasma over a swamp. Each level has touches of brilliance, and it really makes the world feel both wonderful and terrifying. There is one level where you travel through an oil field, and I won't spoil it, but it is incredible. But the character models are just fine, with some interesting faces during the cutscenes, but they don't move much outside of those scenes, with characters teleporting when they join you on missions, as if they didn't have time to be animated moving. They're just going to appear in front of you after you had just spent the last few minutes clearing out enemies. Last but not least, the voice acting is good, but none of the voices are truly memorable, aside from Harlow, the Secretary of War, who is a caricature of an evil, cowardly politician.
Gentlemen, if you'll take your seats. And, welcome. Yeah, I'm Assistant Secretary of War, James Harrow. President Cleveland wants you to know how appreciative we are of the vital service the Rentia Institute performs, defending our great country from monsters of all shapes and sizes. He also wanted me to make sure you're not blowing all our money on Mexican Monty. But that's another conversation. Yes, quite. Well, as I say, keep up the good work. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Which brings me to my conclusion. Evil West is a good game with lots of atmosphere, fun combat, and a story that leaves itself wide open for a sequel to hit it out of the park. Evil West is currently on Game Pass, so I suggest you check it out there. For my rating, as I said in the opening, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content.
Has the highest survival rate in the Institute, as well as its very best engineer. We are your only chance of turning this around.
Then I expect a report on those tick assholes on my desk first thing, Doctor. And who the fuck are you?
Wait a minute. I'm the best engineer?
You better be, because we need this thing operational as soon as possible, before Harrow comes back to string us all up.
Harrow can suck my...
How bad is it?